Welcome back to another episode of Soul Talk, Majestically Eternal Conversations. Again, I am your host, Bianca Marie, also known as She's Soulful. And today we're doing something a little different. Natural Honey is not here, so we are sending her light and love. However, we do have our guest co-host, Miss Aijah Elaine.
Hello.
And I will let her introduce herself to you all.
As the Empress said, I am Aijah Elaine from Soulcology with Aijah Elaine. Podcast, YouTube, Instagram, all the same names, either Aijah Elaine or Soulcology with Aijah Elaine.
Yes, and you guys can find her on episode 7 of Soul Talk, Majestically Eternal Conversations. So today we're just really putting a face to the name. Finally. Thank you for being here, sis.
Thank you for having me.
Today we are going to get into an episode of the Divine Feminine. And with that said, we're going to get into the quotes of the day. The first quote of the day goes a little something like this. Lost women are women who are disconnected from their sacred center. And that quote is by Miss Queen Afua. Would you like to get into the next quote of the day?
Yes, my quote is also by Miss Queen Afua. And it is, as my womb is healing, so is my life.
Ashe. Like, that's facts.
It is. It is.
So with that said, Aijah and I, along with Natural Honey, also known as Bernicia, and another queen of ours, Demi, Goddess Demi. Actually, she was on episode 12, so check it out. We have decided to embrace this journey of becoming a sacred woman. And really not even becoming, but going back into our sacredness, rebirthing ourselves into being sacred women. We are tapping into the divine feminine. So, Aijah, how was this journey? You know,
I just wanted to plug real quick. We're doing from this book, The Sacred One by Queen Afua.
Okay.
Just wanted to say that, so if y'all wanted to tap into your own divine femininity, you could do so. This is the book we are using as a group to do so.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
You know, I didn't say that, but for those who are listening via podcast, that is the book that we are actually reading. It's called Sacred Woman by Queen Afua, as Empress Aijah said. So tap into it. It's a really great book. It's a very big book. But
a lot of digestion.
Yeah, a lot. But thus far, you know, we have gained so much from the book. And we're simply just going to get into what we've gained from the book, but also just what we're learning as we are becoming sacred women.
Mm-hmm. Let's answer your question. So the journey thus far into becoming a sacred woman has been interesting, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot of emotions, a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of ins, a lot of outs.
That's right.
It's a lot. Like it takes a real just digging into yourself and like kind of getting rid of what doesn't work and like adapting new things that do work and trying to find a way to blend it together, and then how your life shifts through the process, because as you're becoming a new person, the things outside of you tend to reflect that. Not always in like, I don't want to say not a positive light, but like, you know, when people get used to you being a certain way.
Yeah.
When you become a different way, that makes them feel threatened sometimes. And so it's been a very interesting journey.
It has.
And then now I'm pregnant.
Yes.
So that is,
thank
you. Very well. And so that's been a whole nother dive into becoming a sacred woman.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
I'm now really a woman.
Yes.
You know, it's like I told my sister yesterday, I'm older now. Like, I feel older because I have to be more mature, and I have to, you know, become a different person, you know.
Becoming a mom.
Becoming a mom.
Yeah.
And that comes with a lot of responsibility just as a person, you know. It comes with a lot of, because, you know, actually I made a post the other day, or reposted. It said, the scariest part of being a mom is knowing that what I don't heal, I'll pass on to him. So it's been a lot of like, you know, the last 5 months have been like really diving into what needs to change and what needs to be adapted. So
that's beautiful.
It's been a wild journey, to say the least.
It will, and it will continue to be. Like, rather, it is a wild journey, but it will continue to be, but a beautiful journey, you know.
Indeed,
especially
it's
as you
absolutely
are embracing motherhood.
It's 100% worth it. Like I'm grateful for all the ups and the downs. Like it's definitely showing me, just how to be the best me. So it's great.
I love that. How to be the best you.
Yeah.
Always do your best, everybody.
Exactly. So how's your journey into sacred womanhood?
For me, it's healing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm happy that you did touch base on that.
Mm-hmm.
This journey has been a healing journey.
Mm-hmm.
So as we have been reading the book together, and we discussed in the group message, it's a lot of content in the book,
mm-hmm.
but it makes you sit back and reflect over your life. And as we are older, we're in our mid-20s, it makes me like seriously reflect over how I've gotten to where I am today.
Right.
And though I've already been on a healing journey, because I really do wholeheartedly feel that we are a healed people and a healing people, this book has really allowed me to tap into healing my divine feminine.
Mm-hmm.
Because I've had past relationships, past relations, healing from situations with my mother, my father, and even my siblings. And I do wholeheartedly feel that I'm healing past generations too. So it's really been a healing journey for me. That is the best way to describe it.
I like that.
Yeah, I've been healing.
I like that.
But I'm thankful for the healing because, like you, though I'm not pregnant or a mother, I know that I do want to be that one day, but I don't want to pass down things that I didn't heal.
Right, you want to break those cycles. You want to break that generational
Exactly.
trauma.
I don't want to make my children pay for things that had nothing to do with them.
Amen. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why I feel like I'm healing my past generations too. Like I'm doing healing not only for my ancestors, but for my descendants as well. It's like full circle for me.
It is. And that's a very valid point. And that's exactly what the healing does. Like when you decide as a person to break those cycles and become a different person, you heal that, because I mean, it's another conversation for another day, but time is one of those things that isn't really linear like we perceive it. So it's like when you heal yourself.
Speak on it. Go speak on it, because I'm gonna touch base on that. I'm gonna touch base on that.
Yeah, when you heal now, like you're healing your past selves, you're healing your family members, you're healing your ancestors. It's all kind of like it's a culmination of everything. And then like you said, you obviously going forward, that's going to be healed because you're not going to experience the same levels of trauma.
Exactly.
Because you've healed from it, so there's no need to repeat certain behaviors anymore. When you know better, you do better.
Exactly. So to get specific, us being women and talking about the sacred woman journey, hurt mothers hurt daughters. You know what I'm saying? But a hurt mother was once a hurt daughter. And it's important as women, because we not only carry daughters, we carry sons too. It's important as women to heal like whatever has happened to you. And the healing never looks pretty. That's one thing that I would like to talk to you about on camera.
Yes,
we've talked
please,
about it
that
plenty
is a
times
very
off
good point.
camera.
Yeah.
That healing is not always love and light.
It's not.
Sometimes your healing journey won't always look so pretty.
It gets real nitty gritty.
Yeah.
You get real dark in there
and
sometimes.
real life, But no, touch base.
Because I mean, like it gets dark, but it's like it's going through that darkness that makes the love and light possible.
Yes.
Because if you don't go through the darkness, you don't go through the pain, you don't go through the things that need to be really healed, then that love and light you're promoting is I don't want to cuss, but it's bull.
Well, I like that you got that, but we don't care.
Yeah, but no, it's really it's a front, it's a mask that you're putting on a show, because if you haven't healed it, then that love and light you're promoting is just fairy tale. Yes. It's denial.
Speak on it.
So eventually, once you go through the darkness and heal, you can be love and light, and it can be, because I'm a very positive person. I make it a point to be rainbows and sunshine most of the time, but I also don't deny whenever I'm not feeling that way, because when something comes up that makes me not feel just happy-go-lucky all the time, that's alerting me to something that needs to be healed. That's saying, Aijah, you're in pain.
Oh, yes.
It's saying, Aijah, like, fix me.
Yes.
And if I'm just like, oh, no, it's fine, it will never get healed.
Exactly.
So, that love and light, like, it's and actually, I made a tweet the other day that said, you know, I'm not a love and light spiritualist, because people do be like, I'm just love and light and blessing, you know, that's not what, but I do make a conscious effort to avoid hatred and darkness. I make a very conscientious effort to avoid those things. And so when they're presented to me, I don't indulge, but I also recognize that, you know, you can't just pretend it's not there.
No. And like, when you were talking about, you know, people be wanting that fairy tale, instantly brought me to Lauryn Hill. And she said that fantasy is what the people want, but reality is what they need.
Amen.
And that's just what
it
is.
That's exactly.
And then I'm going to touch base on time, because when we were reading this book, I really found some interesting truths about time for myself. And I'm just going to read them, and you can chime in and tell me what you think about it.
Okay.
So the first quote or just note that I wrote when it comes to time from the book by Queen Afua, I wrote that all time is spiritual. There are divine messages in numbers. I felt that was very essential. And then the second quote that I wrote was, use your time with awareness and mindfulness. The more you are in tune with and respectful of time, the more you will be blessed by time.
Ooh, I like that.
Yes, so I really just took that, you know, to my soul, because I felt that time is something that is really essential, and you need to be intentional with your time, because we don't get it back. And though we always step into new time by the grace of the Most High, you don't get time back. So tell me what you think about those two quotes.
I mean, that second one really, like, that hit me right here.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But it's real, because, you know, when you're intentional with time, like, everything's an investment, you know, and one thing I have learned in this life is you get what you put out. You know, what the person you are and the way you experience and everything you are inside, it will be reflected outside. So if you are intentional with your time, then you'll be blessed with opportunities. You'll be blessed with people who don't want to waste your time. You'll be, you know, it's just a certain level of, you know, time is one of those things that, like you said, you don't get it back, you know. So when you're intentional with it and you can make the most of the things you do and make the most of, you know, how you spend the 24 hours you have in a day, you know, you'll end up, as time progresses, being a better person, because you're investing in yourself.
Exactly.
Instead of wasting your time. And that's something I need to work on myself, honestly, because I feel like I spend more time consuming content than I do creating it. But it's that time. So if I put that same amount of time into, you know, investing in myself rather than someone else, I will be, you know, further along or whatever. And it's not to be hard on myself. It's just a, you know, understanding of that's what it is. So
it's just
anyone,
it's
exactly. So it's like anyone needs to understand that if you want to be somewhere you're not, you have to do things differently. You have to use your time wisely.
I agree.
Like,
and you know, us being divine feminine and sacred women, we are creators. So I wholeheartedly agree with what you said. That, you know, as creators, which obviously you are a creator, you know, as a creator, you do have to spend more time creating than consuming, which you're not being hard on yourself. You're just holding yourself accountable.
This is true.
Because I'm also working on that as well. Yeah. So that is okay.
Yeah. It's just, I know I have to be better. That's what it says.
And you know, but we all can. And, you know, we have to always do our best. Like, at the end of the day, I don't feel that any of us, especially on the journey of becoming a sacred woman, like, don't hold yourself, or not hold yourself accountable, but don't beat yourself up. And that's been a reoccurring theme in our Soul Talk, Majestically Eternal Conversations. However, when it's all said and done, give yourself grace and patience. Now, let me get a little bit more into the divine feminine and sacred woman. I would like to ask you, what does it mean to you to be a divine feminine woman?
That is a good question. It's a very good question. But ultimately, I think it means just being your best self, like being the woman you were meant to be. And especially in the society we are in, because we have lived for years and years and years in a very patriarchal society.
Yes.
But a patriarchal society that has been rooted in distortion. So it's not even like it's divine masculine energy. It's just masculine energy. But it's energy that has not been not functioning as it should. And so because of that, as women, we have kind of been forced to really to be accepted. I feel like adapt to that sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of times, like, that's why I don't call myself a feminist, because I feel like with the feminist movement, it really is just women wanting to be accepted as men are in the same way that they are.
And we're not feminists. We're womanists.
Exactly. But yeah, so it's like we've taken it like, oh, well, to be successful, we have to act as men act. And we have to, you know, so it's becoming a divine woman and a sacred woman is to embrace your femininity and to embrace that the beauty of being a woman and the softness that we have. You know, because we don't have to be hard.
With me because I was gonna chime in and say vulnerability is so essential.
Key, because we don't gotta be hard to get our way. Like, I mean, I've learned in my life, like, I call it the power of the pretty, but the power of the pretty.
Okay, break it down, please.
But basically, it's when you bat your eyes and you look real cute, people will do some stuff for you. You don't gotta be all demanding.
You hear it, everybody? The power of the pretty.
Like, you just, oh, can you please do this for me? Yes, I can. Like, because men like to feel like men, you know what I mean? And it's not, so they like to feel like they're useful, like they like to feel like they're strong. And so it's like, if you play into your femininity, you can get a better response out of the men around you.
Take notes. No, I really love that though, the power of the pretty. And I do agree, because I feel that as a woman, you know, I'm gonna chime in now, as a woman, you know, the divine feminine to me does feel like being vulnerable and not being afraid to be vulnerable. Excuse me, because we always feel as women that we have to be hard.
Right.
And I do know women out there, wherever you may be tuning in, that a lot of us, especially melanin and copper women, a lot of us have had to deal with issues from men. But you know, I'm not going to negate or take away that there are some true divine masculine men out there. So being the divine feminine, the true divine feminine, means to be vulnerable and to be okay with keeping my heart soft. And like Aijah said, which is so true, we're not meant to do what men do. We don't have to do what men do. We don't have to compete with men. You know, we're supposed to be complimenting the man. You know what I'm saying? So,
because my thing is, and I say this all the time, there's a man and a woman for a reason.
Exactly.
You know, oh, that brings me my point. Actually, as I was jumping up here, I was thinking about how we're talking about divine femininity, and I think about how our conceptualization in whole is of a male god, right? And I feel like God is by, it's not by, but it's like there's two sides of it, because you know, when you look at made in my image,
yes,
there's man and woman.
Exactly.
So obviously there's a woman image that was made as well.
Hello.
And so being divine femininity, I think a divine feminine is really embracing that idea and understanding that. You know, because I say all the time, like, before I even became a mother, but now even more so that I am becoming a mother, that parents or children, they look at, because, you know, as a child, you don't really think about divinity. You know, your conceptualization as an infant of God is really your parents, because they're providing for you.
Exactly.
They're making sure you eat. They're making sure you're safe. They're making sure you're clothed the same way our God does for us. You know, so kids are looking at their parents as that. So it's like, that's why having 2-parent households is so necessary, and having that woman, that nurture, like, it's necessary to have those both aspects. I had a point.
No, take your time. Well, I'm gonna chime in.
Yeah,
I do agree with what you're saying, that as we are embracing the sacred woman journey and the divine feminine, it does mean to acknowledge the mother creator. Even if you want to say Mama Earth, you know, there is still some type of feminine aspect when it comes to this here creation. You know, it's it's been skewed to think that we only live in this male patriarchal society where there's only a father creator, but there's a mother and father creator. And like you said, when it comes to your parents, well, honestly, the first God that we see is our mother. As a baby in the womb, that's the first God that you ever saw.
It's true.
Because that's the one who carries you. You like right now, baby Emmanuel is in Aijah's womb. He's in her darkness.
Mm-hmm.
So when he comes out, when he is birthed, she will be his first God. So I really love that point, that you made it a point. Even in our book, The Sacred Woman by Queen Afua, she does not negate the father creator, but she does acknowledge the mother creator.
And see, that's the thing too with the whole, I think, feminism movement. I think it's like, it's a battle of, well, women should be a leader, and men should, it's like a battle, but there shouldn't be a battle. It shouldn't be who can be better lead. It's, we need to lead together.
Ooh, Aisha.
Like, actually, I feel like, honestly, instead of like, well, can a woman be president? We should have a woman president and a man president, to be real.
Hello.
Like, if we don't do it, it's not who can do it better, it's how can we do it together.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so to be a divine feminine, to be a divine woman, is to understand that, and to not take, well, because I'm a woman and I'm strong, and take that to demean men, even if they have been operating in their distorted energy. You know, and I'm not saying it's up to us to heal these men, because they have a responsibility to themselves to make sure they're their best selves as well.
Yes,
but we have to be able to hold space for them to do so.
Yes, and we have to play our part.
We have to play our role and be our best selves. So because I can't, and we were talking about this earlier about like, I can't ask of you anything I'm not giving to you myself.
Exactly.
It's not fair. It's not right. It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly.
So if I'm showing up as my best self, then I would like for you to do so as well.
Exactly.
And not just for me, but for you too. And so as a woman, I think it's our space to be our best selves, but also hold that space to where they have the room to be their best selves as well.
Yes.
And so that's what divine femininity is, you know, because there's that. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Just, you know.
I talk my hands a lot, so
it's okay. Don't worry about it.
But yeah, we have to have that space. So it's like, because you can be a strong woman, but not be a divine woman.
Yes.
Because if you are operating in a space where I'm better than men and women are better than men, I don't need no man, men are all dogs, and like, because you can't, like you said, you can't operate without the other side. There's no way to do so. And so to hold that negativity about that keeps you in your own, you can't level up if you're not willing to hold that space for grace.
I agree. And I just feel that as women, we have to set that standard.
Exactly.
And I know that NOI Muslims, I can't speak for everyone else, but I know that Nation of Islam Muslims, you know, they say that a nation can only go as high as the woman goes, basically. So I always like that, because I take that as, you know, women, we still have a part to play. You know, we can't condemn the men, like you said, but then we're not playing our part.
Right.
So, you know, you can't be out here thotting and bopping and hoeing. And you know,
my man needs to be a king.
Yeah,
he needs to do this and this and that. But what do
you can't be out here disrespecting yourself and degrading yourself and expecting for a man to, you know, worship the ground you work on, or work on what? Get it together. Worship the ground you walk on, but you're not even recognizing your own divinity.
Right.
You know, you're not recognizing how important you are and essential you are.
Right. Just
as a woman alone, you got to play your part as a woman. Oh, hello, friend. But no, you know, that's just really how I feel. And I know we've been talking about a lot, but is there anything else that you would like to say when it comes to the journey of, you know, becoming a sacred woman? Is there something you want to share with us about your journey, or just some advice you want to give?
I thought I can give some advice.
Okay.
And I mean, it's the same advice I think I gave last time. Is that, you know, just to trust your journey, you know what I mean? And not get discouraged if someone else is more elevated than you. Like, because we ultimately are all brothers and sisters in this world, this space. And so anyone you look up to, like, reach out to them. And, you know, I see you doing your thug thizzle. I see you out here, you know, being a queen and being an empress and doing your thing. Like, you know, instead of, because I think women have a hard time of not hating on other women. And I feel like that's always, it stems from jealousy. Like whatever bitterness, whatever, you know, oh, she thinks she's cute. No, you think she's cute. That's why you're saying it.
True.
You know what I mean? So instead of having that bitterness towards someone who you may feel is doing better than you, like, where'd you get your shoes? How'd you slay your baby hair? How'd you know what I mean? Whatever it is that you're envious of, instead of, you know, holding that resentment, you know, use that, you know. But on a deeper level, more than the surface, like, you know, aesthetics, you know, do the work. Read books like Sacred Woman, you know, or at the very least, just learn about yourself and learn about your like, look back on your life and look back on how you've been operating in the world, and like how we did our womb journal meditation. Like, we look at, you know, how we've been treating ourselves and how have we been allowing, and we kind of spoke on this on my podcast. We talk about the relationships and stuff. Whatever trauma you may have experienced is typically a reflection of whatever you're going on inside, you know. So if you are hurting in any way, like, look at why, you know, like try to really analyze and discover what it is that needs to be healed within yourself, because that healing, like you said, is what takes you to that level of sacredness. It's what takes you to that level of divinity, and keeps you, you know, from staying stagnant and staying in your what's a good word for it? Just non-sacred energy. You know, if you want to be better, you have to really like excavate what's not letting you go that place. You know.
I agree.
Yeah, I would say that's about it.
Yes. I like the first point that you made. You know, about women. Basically, it shouldn't be competition. Collaboration over competition, community over competition. Like, rather than feeling like you have to compete or you're in competition with this woman, you could seek guidance. Like, there's something to be learned, you know, from this woman. Look at it like there's something to be learned from this woman, excuse me, rather than, oh, she thinks she's cute, or, you know, oh, you know, she's clout chasing, or she's stunting, you know, just really petty shit. Let me keep it real. Petty shit. Instead of doing that, just be willing to be like, you know, hey, I like your outfit. Where'd you get it from? Or, you know, I like your hair. Where'd you get it from? Or even aside from, you know, the surface level things, as Empress Aijah said, if you just feel that there's something about her spirit or just something about her that's drawing you to her, maybe inquire, maybe get to know her. You know, you guys might be able to gain something from each other. So I will definitely touch base on that when it comes to really tapping into your divine feminine, you gonna know who you are, so you're never gonna be worried about anybody else. But you know that you can build with some other women. You'll know that you can learn something from other women, but you won't ever feel like you're being knocked off your own square. And then, you know, just when it comes to the journey of Sacred Woman, the first thing I am going to recommend is that you get the book. Show them the books.
Sacred Woman by Queen of.
Please get the book. It's a really good book. We're probably in our book club on like page 60. You know, yeah. So we're around page 60. It's a lot in that book.
It's a lot, and we were trying to digest it like 30 pages a meeting.
Exactly. And you know, we're also taking notes, which this is what this book is for. And you know, it does say yes, queen, yes, queen. And as you can see, it has the feminine woman sign. So just take your notes and take it one day at a time. Like, I'm always going to encourage all of the listeners and viewers to know that you have to provide yourself with the grace and patience. You cannot always be so hard on yourself, but please, as a woman, hold yourself accountable. You know, if you want to be treated a way or viewed a certain way, it all starts with you.
Amen. You
have to treat yourself that way, and you have to view yourself that way. Nobody else can do that for you but you.
Because actually, I have like that reminds me of something I was thinking the other day. Like, if you don't love you, how in the world can you expect anyone else to?
Exactly. Like self-love and self-care starts with you, and just embrace all that you are. Like, to be a woman is one of the most divine things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I personally know, I'm not gonna even say feel, I was about to, but I personally know that, you know, a woman is the closest thing to the creator, you know, and women, you know, you go through a lot, but you overcome so much. However, just because you are a strong woman and a resilient woman, as we discussed earlier, please continue to be soft. You know, don't take away that softness, because that is what makes you unique.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And I mean, that is all I have to say. We greatly appreciate you all for tuning in to Soul Talk, Majestically Eternal Conversations. And I mean, we will continue the conversations of sacred women and the divine feminine. This won't be the first conversation we have, or not the first, but the last. Y'all know what I meant. This won't be the last conversation we have. It is the first. But you know, one day we will bring all the women who are in the book club together so that we can discuss our journey. And I'm sure by then we'll be further along in our journey. We do appreciate y'all, and we are sending you guys nothing but peace, love, and abundance.
Happiness, prosperity,
yes,
blessings, all that.
Yes. So when it's all said and done, to my divine feminine women and my sacred women out there, keep tapping into your power. Keep tapping into your magic, because you are something special and something sacred. Peace.